So today we're back. We've got Mavlonbek in the house. He is the CEO and extraordinaire founder at Salesfinity, which is an AI-powered parallel assisted dialer. It allows you to do 10 to 12 conversations every hour. And for me, as much as speed is very important and AI is all very cool, when I was using Salesfinity, the most attractive thing for me is you don't have to go to LinkedIn physically and go quickly scan the profile before the call, because the second you call, Mavlonbek's technology pulls all of the relevant data, pulls all of the relevant profile information you need. So you literally go right into those conversations strong. So Mavlon, I'll hand it over to you. Who the hell are you, bro? What do you do and why do you do it?
Yeah, thanks for inviting Shane. Hi, everyone. My name is Mavlon, and I work at a company called Salesfinity. And what we do is help sales teams have more prospect conversations on the phone, automate manual tasks so they can focus all their valuable time for having uh, prospect conversations. So I'm originally from Uzbekistan, moved to US, was following my American dreams and build a company and become successful. And here we are on this podcast with you all.
So, Mavlon, why? There was a point in your life where either you were working for someone or working with someone else. At what point did you say, "This is enough. I want to do something. I want to build my own thing"? What was the why?
Yeah, great question. So, to be frank, I've never really experienced working under someone except like when I worked in summer when I first came in the US. But the idea for entrepreneurship began when I used to study law back home. And when I was studying law, I didn't enjoy it much. So then I started looking for ways and decided to learn English. And while learning English, there would be different passages, would study this um, book called Headway, Oxford University Press, and they would write different stories, reading materials basically. So one of those stories were about like Silicon Valley, where technology people, Steve Jobs, and all the stuff, and it sounded so fascinating to me, and I decided, wow, this could really work for me, and that's how it all began, and then I decided, okay, to learn English and then come to United States as a
What
student.
year did you come to the US?
The first time I came was
Okay.
2015. Uh, I came here as like a summer exchange program in summer. So I worked briefly in a town called Kenosha. It's in Wisconsin, and it was like an
Okay.
exchange student program, and that's where I worked. And then went back home. And next year I came back again with another exchange, but this time I came to San Francisco, and there's a place called Pier 39. That's where I worked. It was a tourist attraction, and we would sell ice cream. There's a shop called Dryer's Ice Cream. That's where I used to work. And then I saved up enough money. That was enough for one semester worth of tuition. Then I went back home. Before going back, I applied to the university called San Francisco State University, applied, and then went back home. And within a month or two, I received like admission letter, like, okay, congratulations. And then the rest, I then moved in 2017 as a formal student.
Wow, mate, that's an exciting story. So I'll tell you, I know exactly what it's like to move to the US, and I'd love to hear this from you. So you may not know, I'm 37 years old. So I moved to the US. Oh my God, bro, I don't even want to say this, but almost 30 years ago, almost 30 years ago, I moved to America, um, which was
Wow.
1999, right? So almost 6 years shy, so 7 years shy of 30. So I moved to the US when I was 86, 13 years old. I first saw the buses, the yellow buses coming across the road, like massive streets. And then I went to school, and I'm now bigger now that I'm a man. But when I was 13 years
Yeah.
old, I was a skinny little Indian kid, and I went to school, and I'd see these fucking huge giants of Americans that are just standing with big clothes and all big buildings, and I was absolutely shell shocked. For you, moving from Uzbekistan over to the US, what was the first impression? What was the first like opinion you had when you landed?
Yeah. Yeah, it was quite frankly unbelievable when I first landed. It was New York JFK, and first thing we wanted to like
Yeah.
go to Times Square. We had a little bit of time before going to before catching our Greyhound bus to Kenosha. So we ran. I think it's
Yeah.
42nd Street, and we took the train and we came out of the Greyhound
Yep.
station, the 42nd Street, and then in front of me was like a glass building of New York Times. It was like, wow, this is unbelievable. And then we started walking from New York
Mm.
Times building to the left and straight. There was Times
It's
Square. Like,
amazing, right?
it was unbelievable. Buildings, yeah. I've never seen anything like this. So that was like a shocking moment, and well, I couldn't see a lot of stuff because I had like an hour or 30 minutes left. I needed to catch a bus right away, and, and went back and went to Kenosha. Kenosha is not like New York City, it's like a farm village. So back to normality, and then and then we would take the trains during the weekends because the town is very close to Chicago. It's like 40 minutes by train, and we would go to Chicago. It's
Major city,
another
yeah.
like tall building city, and it was crazy. And when I first came to Chicago, I purchased this ticket. It's called Millennium Tower, I
Is
believe,
that the Sears Tower? Yeah, the
tallest
Sears
building
Tower.
in
Do they call it the
America.
Sears Tower?
I think they changed the name to Millennial Tower or
Okay.
something like this.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It was something like that. Basically, you go upstairs and then there is like a
Yeah.
glass
Hmm.
floor. Then you can see the whole thing. It's like wow, you can see the whole thing. It's unbelievable.
Oh my god. So that type of experience now, I think for me, we flew to New York, JF Kennedy. Also, that was the first place we went. We stayed at a place called the Millennium Hotel, and this was before 9/11. Right. So when I first went to America, it was before 9/11
Mhm,
happened. The Twin Towers were still there. We went on the viewpoints,
mhm,
the viewing screen, whatever, at the top of the, what was it, 131st floor, 146th floor, I think it was one of the two. But when you see those lights and you see those buildings, and they are significantly larger than anything you've ever seen in Europe. Did that for
mhm,
me? It did something very, very strange. Not strange, but it was like if that building can be built to that extreme, and then you see the people on their careers and what they have achieved. For some people owned a car wash and they were driving
mhm.
Lamborghinis and living in mega mansions. That did something for me. What about you? What was the thing that seeing in the US gave you that thought that it always is a spark when you're younger? I'm gonna be something special here.
Mhm. Yeah, 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 definitely. And when I first saw those things, it was like very inspiring because like you look at these buildings and these are all
Hmm.
man-made. They didn't fall from sky. Like somebody built it. Like wow, if people can build this, like you can definitely build a tiny little software company. So it's very inspiring. uh, yeah, so that gives you lots of motivation to look at all those things, like what hard work of other
Mhm.
people, what they've been able to achieve, and that gives you okay, I can do this too, and then with enough hard work and knowledge, skills, uh, you can also build. anything you
I
can dream
believe it.
of.
Look, it's the truth, and it's why I was able to build my company in the UK. It was because I have the aspirations, the motivation of what I learned in America. So, for you, when did you find out you had a spark? What was it that happened in your life? You came to the US in 2015, lived in Wisconsin, went back home, came back to Pier 39. In 2017, you got accepted to San Francisco State University. When
Yes,
did you discover your spark? Some that you had something special about you, something different from everybody else.
I don't know if I have something special than anybody else, but I just believed like, okay, everything is possible. All I have to do is try and uh, do it. Like that's how we grow up, and in the family, like uh, when my parents would give upbringing, that they were like, okay, you can do anything. You just need to work hard, and then we grew up appreciating the hard work and believing everything is possible. My father would used to work 7 days a week, so that's where the work ethic comes from. I would watch him work hard like crazy. During the weekends, he would work too, sometimes from home as well. And he's
Hmm.
like a car mechanic. And then I would watch him fix cars during the weekend as well. And like it was that's where I learned all the hard work, and then they gave the power, like believing in yourself, the confidence, instilled that uh, that stuff in me and my siblings, and that's how it all started.
Well, look, that just as much as you may not believe it or may not know, but that is the difference. The confidence you have, the upbringing of your father being around and pushing you and showing you by example. Because some people don't have that benefit. Like some people in America, I've been in
Mm,
the greatest places and the worst of places. Some people don't have a father to actually show them the way. Some people don't have the strong cultural values that our families have given us. So same for me. The reason why I want to work so hard and I want to be so successful is because my dad has achieved so much. So I can't be like the shitty son or the bum son that doesn't do anything. That'd be like you'd be a fucking retard.
yes.
So I believe the same thing. Like parents always give you that kind of drive. But from 2017 to I think you started the business in 2022, if I'm right. Is that right? Around 2022?
Yes.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
I remember when you guys
yeah.
came out, and 2000 so from those 5 years, 2017 to 2022, when did you realize you wanted to become a software engineer? And then when did that progress to I want to be CEO?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, this is not my first company. I had multiple other companies. The moment I came in 2017, because of school, I had to figure out how to make money because I had little amount of money, enough for one semester. So, gotta figure out what to do. So, and then I couldn't do like physical work, although I did in the beginning, but I needed to do something internet related that I didn't sell my time because I had school. Like physically, it's impossible
Yep.
to do everything, but you have to
Yeah.
make some living. And I was like searching on YouTube, looking for
Mm-hmm.
different ideas, how to make money and all the stuff, and then learn about something called Amazon FBA. Basically, you buy products from China, uh, and you ask them to manufacture them under your brand, basically private labeling products. You come up with your brand, they put on your boxes on the product, and now you are the brand owner, and then you sell it on Amazon. Back in the day, it was like a
Yep.
famous thing. And then I was looking for products to sell. And then while searching on YouTube, I saw one guy posted a video like an hour ago, and he had like 500,000 views. All he was doing was fidgeting small little toy called fidget spinner. It's like, man, this is so crazy. And then I checked on Amazon. There were three sellers making crazy money. I used like intelligence tools, something called Jungle Scout, looked up the revenue and all the stuff. Like, man, it's so crazy. Only 3 sellers. Then I checked on Alibaba.com and find the product, and it was like $1.20 or something. So landed cost was like $2 with private labeling. I came up with the name Fidelity, and then they printed the logo, quick logo on Canva, and like pasted it in the boxes and stuff. And in 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, it arrived. I invested like
Yep.
$1,000. I think I invested $1,000, and I received like 500 units. Put on Amazon. First day, no advertising, anything, just a nice copy with SEO. I sold 3 units. I was like, unbelievable. Like, people are paying money. And it was like, I was selling it $18 at the time. It was like $18 per piece. Can you imagine like money coming to you on your bank account? It's like, wow, so crazy. The next day I sold 7, then 9, then 11, 15, then started to grow. Then I started learning how I can increase sales, learn about Facebook ads, how to create a landing page, put Facebook pixel, then start targeting people, retargeting, all that stuff. Learn about Amazon's itself, like advertising, something called
Yep.
Amazon PPC, per click. Basically, you target certain keywords, and then you show up on top search results. People click, and that's when
Mhm.
they charge you. All the stuff, and that's where my journey for internet marketing and selling stuff online became um, started, basically. And I learned all those stuff, but selling other people's products were not too
Yep.
fulfilling. I wanted to have my own product, control the full experience, and make it scalable and amazing. And then I came up with the idea for a software idea. Basically, I met a guy in New York, and he was a filmmaker, was studying at the New York Film Academy. And when I met him, he complained a lot about how students can find jobs, and they require portfolio and all the stuff. So there was the idea, some platform where the student um, filmmakers could find clients working for little, like not for expensive, and build their portfolios and
Mhm.
also make some living. So that was the idea. I wanted to build this, so but I wasn't a coder. I never coded before. I'm like a business
Mhm.
marketing guy, and then found this guy. He was he was like a software engineering student, computer science school student at San Francisco State. Basically, I went to lab, like who wants to join a $1 billion company stuff. And then this guy showed up. Okay, and then we began the process. We added him as like sort co-founder, and then he basically had to build the product. Like 2 months passed and nothing came out. I'm very like I
Yeah,
can't wait
impatient.
long. Like everything needs to too impatient in terms of going to market. Like I
Yep.
like being fast, going
Mhm.
crazy. So that's one of the things. So 2 months, like there's nothing, not nothing presentable, because you can build a product for years and then show, unless you are
Mhm.
like in deep tech, like medical or some extremely
Yeah.
research heavy fields. But normal website where people could put their services and somebody could see and pay for this shouldn't take forever. And it's like, man, what are you doing? Like, and then it was too slow. Then I found this guy on in Australia. He was like a course maker, basically like for $40 a month. He would give you access. Basically, the guy teaches you how to build the clones of Uber Marketplace, Airbnb, those kind of stuff. I saw the Airbnb one, like basically was exactly the same thing. Instead of the houses, you needed to put services, and people and click the take you to payment arrangements, all the stuff. Like,
Yeah.
wow, that's so crazy. Then I purchased that course. I have zero coding skills. I know nothing about it, and I, like a monkey, copied every single thing he did during
Yep.
the project. Like, okay, write this, write this. Okay, within a week we had MVP and we released the product.
Wow. Oh my God. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. All right. So, in that time, that's very interesting. See, again, like, this is why I absolutely love, I'll tell you, I absolutely love speaking to founder CEOs because without you, I don't know if you realize, but I've spoken to over 200 to 200 to 250, I would say, in that range, CEOs in the past year. And the majority of them are founder CEOs. And every founder CEO has this one little knack that they see the challenge and they're like, there's 10 people, but the founder CEO finds a way through. And they just make sure that they get through no matter what. There's no, just like you said, I want to get there fast. I want to get to market. I want to present a product. That's a very different thing. What was the biggest challenge that came in your way? And that in that time from 2017, even until Salesfinity, which we'll get into, what was the biggest challenge you ever came
Mhm.
across that almost made you give up?
Well, many things. Selling software is not like selling selling like fidget spinners and stuff. So most of my experience was like
Mhm.
using these marketplaces, selling stuff like this, like B2C. And when I started more in B2B, I had like no experience. And also like American culture, how businesses work, and plus I never worked in like any American organization. So not like, yes, you can have sales skills, but having no understanding how these companies work and what type of processes and getting hold of people. So all those things were
Mhm.
quite challenging and was pretty hard. So that I would say was more difficult to understand how exactly these businesses in America work, and it took me quite some time to understand, because you can't just build a product; it has to fit into people's workflows and make sure you're not just creating another shelfware, but actually building
Mhm.
something useful that makes people's
I
lives
agree.
easier.
I agree. Through that time, what would you say was the biggest learning point for you? So, no, sorry, the lowest point. What was the lowest point that you went through, and how did you overcome it?
Look, yeah, honestly, it wasn't like very, very low points. I always hedged my risks. I never like was crazy like
Yeah.
homeless type of situations, because early on I learned like financial skills, managing hedging risks. So um, whenever I built something, I always had some money saved up, and I would put them into stocks. Thank God we were in like boom time, so had some good returns on that as well. So, but I never went into anything blindly, taking like um, irresponsible risks, I would say. So, does this
Yeah,
answer
yeah,
your
yeah. So,
question?
to a certain extent. So, well, yeah, actually, it does because if you're hedging your risks or hedging your bets very well, and you are very, very prepared, then you definitely do mitigate those low points to a great way. Now, a lot of people, founders, CEOs, they build a very, very thick layer of skin. What do you think has been the one thing that's contributed to your level of resilience?
I think a lot of no's build that up. I've so many failure experiences. So hearing no is like, okay, next guy, okay, next guy. I even make cold calls sometimes
Hmm.
for ourselves, and like, okay, so I'm indifferent for rejections.
Mhm.
It's part of the game, and because if you are, if you're not out in the wild and life not teaching you, for example, if I was like still back home with all my friends, family, everything, and supportive community, facing rejections would be hard. But when you are early on with literally no money, you come to a foreign country, there's no friends, anyone, like you are all by yourself, you have to figure things out. Then life starts teaching you, giving you hard lessons and lots of rejections. Then you start building up your resilience. And coming to US, I think, was one of the biggest things that helped me
I
build
would
the
agree.
skills.
I think the US teaches you something very, very different because you think about it, right? So even in Europe, in the UK, I think there's 18 million
Mm,
people in London or the UK alone. And going to the US, you have over 3 to 400 million people, which is almost what 380,
mm,
no, 370 something what million more people than what we have here. Throughout my life, I was always reserved about answering questions in class. I thought I'd get the wrong answer, and then when somebody else would give the answer, it would be the answer
mm.
that I thought. I'd be like, shit, I knew I should have said that, right? And then after a
Yeah.
while, I got to college, and I didn't find too much interest in college. But then I got myself into a lot of trouble, and I went into prison. And for 3 years in prison, every single thing that you ask to do, let me go. I want to be a worker. I want to go on the food line. I want to do this. I want to go to the library. No, 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 no. Those are the first set of no's that I always used to get. And then I figured out how to manipulate correctional officers to saying yes with things that I could give them to get me to. And there weren't no illegal things or anything. It was either pictures or I'll tell you a joke or something like that, and I'd be able to get my way. And then the only job I could get was in sales. And that was when I learned how to cold call. And the first moment I got on the phone and the entire floor, even yesterday, I spoke to somebody who remembers me from 10 years ago. Still, I remember you as always hitting the phone. And I said, yeah, because I loved the attention. I loved the attention. And after years and years and years of so many no's, I got through so many no's that the yeses outweighed the no's. And even when I started my business, I made 3 cold calls and I already landed my first 3 clients. Yeah. In
Wow.
terms of cold calling, I
Amazing.
know like again, sometimes I've tried recently to do it without cold calling, and I just then I think, all right, I just need to pick up the goddamn phone again because it's so much quicker. Now, during that time of becoming good in outbound sales, cold calling, learning how to get good at it and have those conversations, I learned about a community, a very unique community in where we're present. So outbound
Mhm.
callers, inbound callers, cold callers, technology based callers. What's your opinion on community and the impact community has on growing a business today?
Yeah. Building community is very essential, very, very hard though. So it's not that easy. Uh, can't be transactional, like building community for the sake of doing something. It should be kind of
Mm-hmm.
value driven, has to have some like
Mm-hmm.
sticky point to make sure people come back, because the last thing you want to do is like build all this community and no one stays, everyone goes, high churn. So it's not easy to build a community, to be frank, and I'm not the most experienced person on this topic, but we try to build our community in Salesfinity. For example, what we are doing right now is build this war room. Basically, it's a virtual um, a place, virtual WeWork, let's say, co-working area where people come every single morning from 9 to 10 a.m. PST to make cold calls together. So people like SDRs or anyone who's making cold calls alone in their room or getting scared or just starting, they can come and make dials with other people. So it's completely free and involves nothing in return. So it's one of the ways we're trying to build a community, but let's see how this goes. And once I have more experience, I'm I can definitely share more on this
Well, let's
topic.
ask you this. You don't have to be an expert in it right now, but what's the number one word you link to community?
Giving.
I love it. I agree. It is. And that's why like we've recently built a community too. So our community is um I've gone through various stages in my career from starting my company, being around the cold callers, which is nothing wrong with that. But then from being around the cold callers to managing the cold callers and then managing businesses that are cold callers and employ cold callers. And through that time, I recognized the significant trend. So the first community I was in was Rev Genius, and then it was Justin Michael's community. And I started to see that there was a lot of opinions, a lot of suggestions, a lot of advice from average juniors that really can't do anything or have not proven anything in their lives. And there's nothing wrong with that. But again, as a senior leader or a business owner, if you're seeking information and education from your community, you want to elevate that community. You want to elevate the skill set and the knowledge that comes with that community. So I started to pay for more communities and then go into further communities. And now I've built a community where it's all business enthusiasts that are gung ho on AI and using AI to adopt it for what's happening in the future. So, and the reason we came about that is because I've just joined a company. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Mega.ai, and we're building the first sets of custom autonomous AI agents. Now, these are autonomous agents that can interact with event leads, webinar leads, have a proper conversation, book a meeting, and it go into your calendar. No support. It's Mavlon 2.0. It's Shane 2.0. Sounds like you, tonality like you, objective handles like you, and I see this trend becoming something so huge in God knows how long. But I like, for example, are you using Perplexity? Perplexity.ai. Are you familiar with that one? Oh my
Yeah,
oh my
yeah,
god,
very good
it's
tool.
ridiculous, bro. That is ridiculous. Using that with GPT. I've just started to use Claude. Bing, I don't really use. What's your go-to AI software for 2024 as of Q1? What do you think? Besides Salesfinity, but in terms of
So
information,
yeah, yeah, I would highly recommend Perplexity, and there's another one called Copy AI. Those are
So
great
for, all
tools.
right, so I'll challenge you on that. Copy AI has been around forever. It's been around for like 4 or 5 years. So why do you think Copy AI is so significant or different today? Don't tell me because Kyle Coleman joined as
Um,
CMO.
no, 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 no. We were competitor with Copy AI back in the day, and when I had this company called
I
Research
saw that.
AI, it was similar to Copy AI for all the stuff, and I was really impressed by like Copy AI. Like this, the founder is very good, like not like
Mhm.
shady person, but like actually good. The pricing hasn't changed from when they started. Like very good value for what you get, and plus they're like always innovating, adding more stuff. It's not like they build this thing and then stuck in 2020, but they're actually adding more stuff, making it more useful. So uh yeah,
Copy AI. What? So
that's
what's the
pretty
one
good.
thing that stands out for you then about Copy AI?
Copy AI, so it's like Perplexity that can access internet, do the research, and then do like writings with the
Wow.
real-time
Okay.
data.
Cool. So next two questions that tie up everything, and this is where we get into Salesfinity. The roadmap to success. So there's somebody watching this now, and they're you 10 years ago, and they're just about to go into school. They've just got accepted into a school like yours, state university, and they need to make ends meet. Right? They need to make a little bit of salary or a little bit of an extra income. What would you say the roadmap to success looks like whether they're in school, whether they're employed and ready to go start a business. In your opinion, what would you give in 1 minute? This is what I think most people should be doing today.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, there's no one path for success for anyone. But if I were a student again and just getting started, I will look at all the things that I can leverage. For example, when I was student, I had a friend. He worked at farmers market. One day he invited, "Hey, come over and see how things are." And he invited, and I went. And then I stayed with him. We sold this. He's Afghan guy, and we sold bolanis. Bolanis like the uh, like a paste, and then there's a braid. Braid is made from potatoes, so potato flat bread, and then you can eat this thing, the dip with the bread.
Mhm.
Very delicious. We were selling this, people would come by, and then there were farmers from different regions of California bringing fresh produce, organic stuff. People would buy, and then at the end, they would either throw away the produce or give away to and one another, exchange all the stuff. And when I asked why they do this, because it's expensive to take back all these things, store them, come back next week, and sell them again, because organic produce
Yeah.
perishes quickly. And then I had this idea, wow, why don't I put them into boxes and sell this for cheap because they are high quality produce to students on campus. And this was like a subscription service selling fresh produce in the box. And that's how things started. And if you're just getting started, you should look all the things that you can leverage where you have upper hand, like you can actually do it and actually sell it. Because you can't, when you are like broke, you can think of building next Google, because you may not have skills, you have no idea how the things work, and you can't even sell it. For example, you need fast way to get out of your situation. The fastest way to get out is like to look what you have. Like, do you have friends who you can leverage, or do you have something, like basically finding where you have some competitive advantage, and where the odds of success are much higher. If everyone is, for example, um, doing AI company, but you have zero
Yep.
skills, but that's what's bringing everyone, making everyone millionaires, that's not the path for you. Your path might be, maybe you need to sell fresh produce, maybe you need to flip some stuff, maybe you need to wash cars detailing, maybe you need to buy somebody's car and wash it nicely and flip it on Facebook Marketplace, something. So you need to find something that you can actually do. It's not like a
Mm-hmm.
pipe dream,
Mm-hmm.
realistic. And once you get out of that situation, then you can, okay, now I'm like a decent position. I'm not dying of hunger, because like, okay, if you have no money, you can even, because humans are animals just like everyone, but with a brain and reasoning. You all have this um, instincts for survival. If you are hungry, you can think about changing million people's lives. You're thinking about your next meal. So you're thinking
Yep.
about paying rent. In Western countries, everyone has to pay rent. You can't be daydreaming thinking about some AI company. You need to think about getting out of the situation now, and then doing whatever it takes. Then once you are in nicer position, maybe something going on, then you can start improving your skills, because starting companies require skills. You either have to code or find somebody who can code, or you have to have sales skills, some very good skills. And once you improve your skills, then sky is the limit. You can dream whatever you can, and then using your skills and your confidence, and you can achieve whatever
Mate,
you want.
I
That's
think
what
that
I would
is a very, very succinct, clear, and simple roadmap to success. It's the simple fact that just get up, figure out what you can use your resources for and leverage, and go make something happen. Like a lot of people, exactly like you said, they're sitting there daydreaming. I remember one guy, an old friend of mine, and he's one of these people. When I was younger, because their parents owned a very successful construction company, they were those kids who they got everything handed to them when they were young. Cars given to them when they were 16, 17, not had to work for anything, allowance, everything. And then one of them said, "Oh, I have this idea, but I don't want to share my idea." And I was like, okay. I'm speaking to a lawyer because I'm trying to get it patented and I wanted to know about this and this and this. And I said, bro, I'm going to be so honest with you. Nobody gives a fuck about your stupid patent right now or your solution. Until it's real, until you have something on paper, go make something happen, show something real, and then you can talk about whatever you want. A lot of people are just daydreaming and they have these ideas, but they don't execute. And that's what I really try to push as a message on this podcast and speaking to people like yourself today. You came here with nothing and you made something of it. You created something like something powerful. And Salesfinity, for what it is today, you can see all over LinkedIn. There's events with hundreds of people attending your events. I've been on some of the events. I've seen the shows I've seen the engagement at the event. And I think in the most recent news, you guys have went from 0 to 1 million in annual recurring revenue. Am I right?
I can't share the numbers, but around I would
It
say
sounds quite well. It was again.
ballparking.
It
Yeah.
was on one of Omar's YouTube. So he spoke about on the YouTube. You guys went to 1 million in annual recurring revenue, and that doesn't happen from building a shitty product. It doesn't happen from building just any old dialing system, which is quite interesting. So it's 7 p.m. or 5 minutes to 7 p.m. today on Wednesday, the 21st. I'm obviously in the UK. So I think, what time is it for you?
It's 10:55
So
a.m. right now.
10:55 a.m. for you. I'm 37. You're your age. In 2034, Mavlon, at this exact time, I'm going to give you a call. And I want to know if what you tell me now is what's happening in 10 years. Are you in the same room? Are you in
Sounds
a different room? Do you have more kids? Tell me,
okay.
walk me through what 10:55 a.m. looks like in 10 years.
Oh, hopefully I'm alive by the time, by the grace of God, because we don't know
Yep.
what might happen. Like, you can go home and may not wake
Yep.
up tomorrow. So I'm grateful for every single day and try to utilize, be beneficial for my family, for myself, for the community, and for our customers and everyone. So that's that. So I want to make sure in 10 years, if I'm alive, also serving people, serving um, customers and everyone like around me, and helping them, making their lives easier. Um, yeah, hopefully I'm healthy. I'm working out, so this continues. I'm a lot more fit. Right now, I am at
I'm
98
the same.
kilos, so my goal is like
Yep.
85. So maybe 85 kilos fit, ripped Mavlon.
I believe that will be you. Carry on. Tell
uh,
me more.
yeah, I've one daughter now, but I love kids. So by the in 10 years, I mean 5 kids maybe. That would be nice.
Okay. Are you still living in
Yeah,
San Francisco? Or are you living somewhere else?
San Francisco. Yeah, for now San Francisco, but in 10 years, I'm not sure where I'll be. Um, yeah, and I don't measure success in money, like become billionaire or stuff, but I measure success in how many people I am impacting, how many people I'm actually helping. So helping millions of people when in 10 years. Right now we're helping hundreds of people, but in millions, hopefully by the time. So
All right,
those are
let's
the
ask the
plans.
last question. Are you still have you sold Salesfinity? Are you still working there? Are you building the next generational AI? What's the situation like that in terms of business, career, job?
Business, career, job wise. In 10 years, it's hard to say, but let's say I'm still in
You
Salesfinity.
are a patriot of your company. Wow, that's very good. I am. If I were to take a guess, we could bet on this one offline. But I think Salesfinity will probably have sold for quite a decent amount of money, and I think by that time you will have integrated some new technology with the use of a dialer into something else. I think the progression, the levels of progression that you've gone through is quite significant. So Mavlon, where do people find you if they want to learn more about you or the company?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to reach out to me, go to LinkedIn. I'm available on LinkedIn, Mavlonbek Muratov. Maybe we can put the
Will be
link in
here.
somewhere. And our website is salesfinity.ai. You can check out and learn more. And if you think that's useful for your business, we'd love to help.
Until next time, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Whoa, we got new graphics here. Holy crap. I didn't even know that. But
Yeah,
until
yeah, yeah.
next time,
How's
I
it
don't know.
working
Let's
with
try
you?
again. Let's see if I can do it again. No, it's not working. So, until next time, like, share, subscribe if you thought this content was valuable. If you want to reach out to Mavlon, all of your stuff, your links, socials, we'll include all of that in the below. And then you'll see tons, if not hundreds, of short form reels content across all of our six social platforms over the next 3 months. So I will see you on the next one. We'll probably have you again on again in a few months. But Mavlon, any last words?
Be healthy. Um, if you have parents, cherish them. They're not gonna stay forever, and do everything you can and make
I
every
love
day
it.
count.
I
Life is
love it.
limited.
Thank you very much. Stay on for 1 minute, and then that's a wrap.